We are live on YouTube, and we are live on Talkin. Hope we're all doing well. We had the NBA Playoffs continuing last night, Eastern Conference Finals, Game 1. Miami takes it. They win 118-107. They're up 1-0. In that series, Jimmy Butler, another big game, 41 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. He had a huge game. He has been money in this playoff. He's averaging almost 30 points a game. I think he's averaging like 28 points a game this postseason. He has been excellent. Jason Tatum, 29 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists in the loss. Both was down Marcus Smart, who was the defensive player of the year. But they are also without Al Horford, who, of course, he had that one big game in the first round, and he's an important piece. He's had a good year. So that may have contributed to it. But Miami takes Game 1. They win by 11. Miami at one point went on a crazy run. It was like 23-2 run or something in the third quarter for like 6.5 minutes, and that carried them to victory. Tonight, we got the Western Conference Finals, which is the Dallas Mavericks against the Golden State Warriors at 9 o'clock on TNT. Game 1. As for the NHL Playoffs started last night, Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Florida Panthers 4-1 in Game 1. They go up 1-0. By the way, there was an interesting call in that game about when they reviewed the goaltender interference, and it was up. The goal was upheld on Nikita Kucherov. I didn't really know what they were looking at. I agree with that call. There's been quite a few goaltender interference controversies this postseason. Rangers Penguins had one in Game 1, which I think cost the Rangers the game in Game 1. There's been a few other ones. There was one in Game 7, Toronto and Tampa Bay, that they overturned the Toronto goal. I thought that goal could have stood. There's been a few of them, which is interesting. But I thought that was a good goal. I didn't really see much coming. I mean, the Yankees were trying to say the guy in Tampa, I think it was Ross Colton. He was in the paint. I mean, he may have been in the blue paint, which he is not allowed to do. Saying he made a little bit of contact, which distracted the goalie. I didn't really see it personally, but wasn't matter anyway. Tampa won by 3 goals. And then Colorado Avalanche beat the St. Louis Blues 3-2 in overtime. Josh Manson with the OT winner. That is Josh Manson's first career postseason goal. About 8 minutes into overtime, he scored the game winner. So Colorado goes up 1-0 in that series. Colorado has not lost a game this postseason. They swept Nashville, and they took Game 1 from St. Louis. It was a funny moment in that game with Braden Shen, arguing the penalty he got, that he smashed the camera with his stick in the penalty box. That was pretty funny. As for today, New York Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes have Game 1 on ESPN at 7 o'clock. The Rangers got a big series. And then the Battle of Alberta, Game 1 for the Western Conference semifinals, Edmonton Oilers and Calgary Flames. That is also on ESPN. It's at 9:30, Edmonton and Calgary. That's going on for the NHL playoffs. As for MLB, last night we had a couple double headers last night. Mets and Cardinals had one. Mets took the first one 3-1. Cardinals took the second one 4-3. Dodgers and Diamondbacks had a doubleheader. Dodgers took the first one 7-6, and then the second one, Dodgers won 12-3. So they sweep that doubleheader. We had White Sox and Royals had a doubleheader. First one, White Sox won 3-0, and the second one, the Royals won 2-1. So they split that doubleheader. Other games, we had the Reds over the Guardians 5-4. Rays over the Tigers 8-1. Marlins over the Nationals 5-1. Padres over the Phillies 3-0. Yankees over the Orioles 5-4. Blue Jays over the Mariners 3-0. Astros over the Red Sox 13-4. Braves over the Brewers 3-0. Cubs over the Pirates 7-0. Rangers over the Angels 10-5. Giants over the Rockies 10-7. Athletics over the Twins 5-2. So we had last night. Today, we got some earlier games. At 1:10, we got Tigers, Rays, and Braves, Brewers. At 3:10, we got Giants and Rockies, 3:37. Twins and Athletics, 4:10. Diamondbacks and Dodgers, 6:10. We have Astros, Red Sox, and Reds and Guardians, 6:40. Nationals and Marlins, 6:45. Padres and Phillies, 7:05. Yankees and Orioles, 7:07. Mariners and Blue Jays, 7:10. Cardinals and Mets, 7:40. Pirates and Cubs, 8:05. Angels and Rangers, 8:10. White Sox and Royals. So we got going on in baseball. Look at the standings real quick. Twins, 21-16. They're in first place. Got the White Sox at 500, and everyone else is below 500 in that division. Yankees continue to win, 27-9, best team in baseball. Got the Rays at 22-15. Toronto still getting over 500. Then you got the Red Sox and the Orioles already showing. Especially the Red Sox, 14-22. That's a tough start for the Boston Red Sox. Astros 24-13. They look really good. Los Angeles Angels 24-15. We'll see if they can finally get to the playoffs. Mike Trout's been to the playoffs like twice, I think, in his whole career. It's crazy. National League Central, Milwaukee Brewers are 23-14. They're in first place. Cardinals are 20-16. Everyone else is below 500. Of course, that includes the Cincinnati Reds, who are MLB worst, 10-26. Playing a little better, they're 7-8 so far in May. They were just 3-18 in April. 3 wins in the whole month. That's really bad. Mets are 24-14, third best team in the National League. My Mets are playing very well right now. Everyone else in the division is under 500. They're sitting pretty right now. National League West, Dodgers are 24-12. Pat Jack just said, how the hell did the Reds get 10 wins? I don't know. They've played a little bit better since in May, but still, 10-26 is still really bad. They didn't give up a single-headed ERA day against Pittsburgh, and they still lost. Their offense is so bad, and their pitching is much better. The Dogs 24-12, Padres 23-13, Giants are 22-14, playing very well, and then the Giants and Rockies run out that division. So that's MLB. We have some NFL free agency news. The former Giants corner, James Bradberry, was cut a few days ago by the New York Giants. He has been signed by the Philadelphia Eagles. He signed a 1-year, $10 million deal with the Eagles. I think this is a really good signing. He's a very good, solid corner. Now gives them a legit number 2 corner across the field from Darius Slay, and that fortifies an already very good Philadelphia Eagles defense. And I think the Eagles are going to NFC East. They've had a real good offseason. Bringing A.J. Brown gives Jalen Hurts a proven number 1 wide receiver. They draft Jordan Davis in the first round. They got Jason Kelce's heir apparent in that draft as well. And Kobe Dean was a good draft pick. Now you bring in James Bradberry to boost your secondary. Very good move by the Philadelphia Eagles. We got some news. And we also, thank you, Patrick. The Indianapolis Colts signed Phillip Lindsey. He's a pretty good running back. He signed a one-year deal with the Indianapolis Colts. His first 2 years in Denver, he had went over 1,000 yards. Guy was undrafted. Then his last year there, he wasn't that great. Then he's bounced around. He was in Miami last year where he didn't do anything. But since his first 2 years, he's been very, very invisible. But at one point, he was a very good player. Patrick just said that outside of Jonathan Taylor, the Colts don't really have much. That's true. They have that guy Nyheim Hines, a pretty good pass catching back, but he's really a pass catcher. He's not much of a runner. Outside of that, they don't really have anything. So probably a depth move. Obviously, he's not going to touch away from Jonathan Taylor. Taylor was an MVP candidate last year. I think he had over 2,000 total yards and probably 20 touchdowns. He had a huge year. But it's a pretty good depth signing for the Indianapolis Colts. Like I said, Eagles ahead, James Bradberry. For the few teams that have picked up some quality players even this late in the off season, we got the Saints picking up Tyrann Mathieu and Jarvis Landry. You got the Miami Dolphins picked up Melvin Ingram a few days ago. He's a little older. Only had 1 sack last year, but he still did produce for the Kansas City Chiefs. Miami was able to pick him up. So there's still teams making moves, even after the draft, even though as training camp is inching closer and closer. Still some guys out there. Odell Beckham Jr. is still available. There were some guys who were made cap casualties who were cut because they weren't worth their contracts anymore. Who are still good players who are out there. Eddie Goldman's a guy I believe is still out there. From Bears defensive tackle. So there's quite a few names that are out there. Julio Jones is still out there. I mean, he had a bad year last year, but I think he can produce in some capacity. So that will be interesting to see if somebody picks him up. So there's still some free agents out there. For sure. All right. I know there's a couple people in the chat here on Colorcast. We got Cap and Smooth, and of course we got Pat Jack. I know Smooth and Cap, you guys are into wrestling, so let's recap Monday Night Raw. We had Bobby Lashley defeat Omos in the steel cage match. Cedric Alexander, he attacked Lashley from behind as he was going up the ramp. course, Cedric Alexander, Bobby Lashley, MVP were all in the Hurt Business together at one point. And Cedric Alexander, he's since broken up, but he's trying to, reunite with MVP, so he's been kind of helping them, try to get to Bobby Lashley. Patrick actually said wrestling. Yes, wrestling. We talk about wrestling on the show as well. And then eventually Omos joined in the attack, but then Lashley would, fight back. He would eventually just run right into the steel cage. Omos would join him, and it would be a very good match, back and forth. Crazy ending to the match. We had Omos literally threw Bobby Lashley through the cage, and then Lashley's just laying lifelessly on the broken steel cage. And eventually, Lashley realizes, all I gotta do is step off the cage, which has been dislodged, onto the ground, and he wins. Because in the steel cage, all you gotta do is climb up the cage and then just jump down. I mean, it doesn't matter if he goes through it or over the top, or through the side door, then you win. And so Bobby Lashley, even though Omos, probably looked like the better wrestler in the match, Bobby Lashley wins the steel cage match. Patrick talking about 90s wrestling. Yes, there's a lot of great guys in the Attitude Era. Steve Austin, The Rock, Mankind, Undertaker, when he first came up. Yeah, that was definitely probably the best era of wrestling we've ever had. Patrick just said Dad Mode coming out. Cap saying that Raw's pretty average. Yeah, Raw's gotten a little stale lately. And then he said Omos looks really dumb. Yeah, he kind of does. He's got really weird ring attire almost. I mean, I'm not sure how much ring attire he really find. I mean, he's 7'4", so he looks really dumb in his ring attire. We had Mustafa Ali, who the Miz and the United States Champion Theory have been messing with for weeks ever since he came back. You had the previous week. He fought Ciampa in a match that the Miz was supposed to referee for. So of course the Miz, was refereeing very unfair towards Ciampa, and of course Mustafa Ali lost. And Patrick said the Miz is cool. Is Randy Orton still a thing? Yes, he is. He is the Raw Tag Team Champions with Riddle. Their tag team is known as RK Bro, and he is the Raw Tag Team Champions. I think he's still one of the best wrestlers in the world. I think he's one of the greatest wrestlers we've ever seen. And Cap said, let's give a shout out to Light 'Em Up. It's a really cool show on Color. It's a debate show. On June 5th, Cap will be battling C-Mac for the best Attitude Era moment. That should be a lot of fun. And Cap said that Randy Orton is in the middle of his personal favorite run. Yes, yeah, he's said that, teaming with Riddle has, completely reinvigorated his career, saying he had the most fun he's ever had. They just celebrated the 25th anniversary of Randy Orton, and he's still going strong. So, he's not going away anytime soon. He's a 14-time world champion. He's 2 away from tying the records by Ric Flair and as well as John Cena. 25 years he's been doing it, and I don't really think he's that close to being done at all. He looks fantastic. He's, I think, still one of the top wrestlers in the world. Cap said something like Ric Flair is actually a 21-time world champion. 21? Cap, did he win championships in, another wrestling faction? By the way, Ric Flair is going to return to the ring. He's going to be wrestling in some sort of independent wrestling league. He is 73 years old. 73 years old. And he is going to be wrestling. That's crazy. Not in WWE, at least not yet. But he'll be in some independent wrestling league. He'll be wrestling. He is 73 years old. That's incredible. That's insane. He lost in one title outside of the country, and WCW doesn't count them. Oh, wow. Yeah, he's arguably the greatest of all time, Ric Flair. I think Randy Orton might be up there eventually. He's got 14-time world champion. Been tag champions a few times with a couple different people. He had tag team with Ed, now he's got this thing with Riddle. He was the youngest world heavyweight champion and still is of all time. Known as the Legend Killer. The RKO might be the greatest finishing move in the history of wrestling. He is just an incredible performer. Patrick said, my son and his friends celebrate a good hit in Little League Baseball with a John Cena intro. They'll yell, his name is, and then do a fake trumpet set. That's funny. That's really funny. But yeah, that's Randy Orton. And then back to Mustafa Ali. The Miz and Theory have been messing with him, and he was expected to have a United States Championship match with Theory, but then Theory's like, "Oh, before we start the match, we want to make sure you have a good official." So he brings up the Miz as special guest referee. Smooth say he's going to be coming on shortly. Cap just did do 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 do. Yeah, that's the John Cena theme song. And then we got back to Mustafa Ali. He brought Miz out, and then he was like, I'm not sure if you've earned it yet. So he said he ended up changing the match and said, "You're actually going to fight Veer Mahan, the big bad monster of WWE right now. He's been fighting all these like scrubs and been running through them in like under 3 minutes. He's got that cervical clutch that he locks in that like they tap within seconds in, and of course he easily defeated Mustafa Ali. Miz's refereeing was of course very slanted. When Theory attacked Mustafa Ali from the outside, he like pretended there was something in his eye, and then when Mustafa Ali was going for like jump do like one of those moves where they're out, the other guy's outside the ring, and they jump over the top rope. Miz stood in front of him and started counting. It made the argument like, "Oh, I got to count. He's outside the ring." And then, of course, after the match, Veer continues his assault. But then the Mysterios came out. Remember, Dominic Mysterio was the first guy that Veer took out, and even that they even had it active for a while. The Mysterios came out and they sent Veer flying to the outside. And Cap says that looks like we're gonna have Veer versus Ray. Probably in Hell in a Cell. He said Ray might only last 45 seconds. I don't know. I don't like Rey Mysterio's chances. Maybe about 10, 12 years ago, Ray would have had a real shot, but at this point in his career, I think Veer's going to win that match pretty easily. We also had Riddle versus Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso tried to interfere. He attacked Riddle from the outside, and then Jimmy Uso tried to roll up Riddle, and then Jey Uso tried to go underneath the rope and like use his foot to hold down his brother, but then the referee caught him and he threw him out from ringside, and then Riddle rolled up Jimmy Uso to win the match. Let's get Cap on here. Let's put him on for 10 minutes, and if we need to extend the hot seat, we can. We're on Talking Sports with Jake. We're talking about some wrestling right now. We're recapping Monday Night Raw from this past Monday, a couple days ago.
What's good, Jake? How's life treating you right now?
Pretty good. How's it going, Cap?
It's going really well. Just at work, got a couple more hours left, so we're just cruising right now.
All right.
Yeah, so it was really funny. Even my brother said it to me because he walked in on me. He was like, "When's the last time you watched Raw on time?" I'm like, "Well, there isn't any playoffs on, so you got me." So I did end up watching the first 2 hours of Raw, and then I stepped out for a little bit, come back in, and that's when Cody Rhodes was on my TV screen. So I did check that out for a little bit.
Okay.
So everything that you've gone over, I actually do remember seeing. So once we get past that Cody Rhodes stuff, then I think you'll start throwing things out there that I didn't see, because I did see Veer dog Mustafa Ali, and I personally feel like WWE should either let Mustafa Ali go or give my man's one last run. Like, I would at least like to see him get killed by Roman Reigns one time before he goes. Like, I feel like everybody in this roster should at least get one chance at the tribal chief, because there isn't a whole lot of guys left. He has both championships. Give him some warm-up matches before we just feed him to Drew McIntyre. I do understand that they are trying to extend it by, I don't know if Roman is going to fight at Hell in a Cell. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight at Hell in a Cell, but I do know there most likely won't be a match for him, because it doesn't really seem like anybody deserves to give a Roman inside of Hell in a Cell. So he might end up missing that one. And then I'm gonna throw out what I believe is going to happen. I feel like on Friday, of course, there's supposed to be the combination of the championships, the tag team titles. I don't think we're going to get a clean finish. I think they're going to extend it. and put that inside Hell in a Cell because why the hell not? Why wouldn't we want to see Randy Orton RKO one of the Usos on top of Hell in a Cell? See
That'd be
Riddle
crazy.
and Jimmy do something like they fought. Like it could really, really be a good match. I would really enjoy seeing those two teams going at inside Hell in a Cell and kind of giving it a big emphasis because the tag team divisions haven't really gotten a lot of love. And I do think that this could be something that could revamp the tag team division.
Definitely, yeah. RK-Bro, they've been on a really good run. The Usos have, of course, been on their run. And it's. I read something that said that WWE actually is not planning to unify the tag belts, but they made this match for Friday. Of course, a few weeks back they had made the match, and then Roman came out and ripped up the contract, and they made it a 6-man tag match. They added in Drew McIntyre, and they added in Roman at Backlash.
Really,
But
really, really good ending to that match, I may add. Backlash as a whole actually
yeah,
wasn't that bad of an event, if
yeah,
we're
it
being
was very good.
honest. It
Yeah.
was, yeah, like they didn't have any misses. I think the worst match might have been Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey, but of course it is. Everything else was pretty damn good in my opinion. I enjoyed Edge versus AJ Styles Part 2. I enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
Cody and Seth Rollins. Those all were really good contests. I ain't have a problem with Madcap Moss and Baron Corbin. I would hope that they get that um I would hope they get that out the way as fast as possible because I just feel like it's not really doing nothing for either character. It
Yeah.
was a good little warm up.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Pat Jack, yes, Edge actually came out of retirement 2 years ago
Yes. Yeah.
and then
He
won the
came back.
Royal Rumble the very next year.
Yeah.
It was
He
very
was
nice.
he was out of wrestling for 9 years. I think he's like 47 now.
hmm Something that actually almost got me because Edge retiring got me choked up because in
Mm-hmm.
2011 I was a pretty big Edge fan.
Okay.
But seeing Edge come out of retirement really did feel good, especially the circumstances of it being the demise of Kobe Bryant. It just was a really good, feel good moment, something that gave every wrestling fan that also is a basketball fan something to be happy about at that time frame. And it was one of the better Royal Rumbles, if I'm being honest. Probably top five, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was a great rumble for sure.
Do you have a personal top five Royal Rumbles?
Um, the one that Sheamus won, I really liked. That was one of the first wrestling pay-per-views that I ever watched. I don't really watch them
hmm
anymore because I just watch Raw the next day. Outside of WrestleMania, of course, I watch, but I thought that one was really good.
hmm
Uh, when John Cena fought The Rock the second time, I think he won the Royal Rumble. That was a good Rumble, I
Yeah.
thought. And I thought when Edge came back, it was very good. We tough to rank top five. I've only seen a few like live. I mean live, like obviously like just watching on TV. But
hmm
there's been a bunch I saw that I really like. That's one of my favorite ones, Royal Rumble. I love myself a good Royal Rumble for sure.
Absolutely. Can't go wrong. The best hour in wrestling, in my opinion.
Definitely. Yeah,
Growing
we also
up, I really liked the 2002 Rumble.
okay.
But, like, if I had to pick my top five, I'd probably have to go with '07, the one when Taker won. Really enjoy that one.
Mm-hmm.
2018 when Nakamura won, that was an excellent Rumble.
That was a good one.
2020, is it 20? No, it's 2020. When McIntyre won, that creeps into my top five.
Mm-hmm.
2001, the last one that Stone Cold won,
Ooh.
and shoot, this is a really, really hard list. I thought
Yeah,
I
it's
had my
tough.
list in order, but I only got four right now. I got '01, 18, 20, 2007, and another really. Oh, I mean, I guess I can go with the classic. I'll go with the one where Ric Flair won in '92. That was a really good one too. If you haven't seen
Okay.
it, it might be considered the most star-studded Rumble of all time. Because if
Yeah.
you really want to be honest, out of 30 guys, 20, 21, maybe even 22 of those guys were believable winners, most definitely. Hall of Fame talent,
Mm-hmm.
top tier, former world champions, Undertaker, Hogan, Piper. Macho Man, Flair, Sid Justice, a whole plethora of top guys. I even think Bret Hart was in that one as well.
Probably was.
Great Rumble.
Yeah, and the best ending to a Royal Rumble
Mm-hmm.
that I've ever seen was when Shawn Michaels' feet were dangling, and
Oh yeah,
he was able to stay in. That's
yeah, great, great
probably the
ending
best
to
ending I've ever seen. By see, I mean rewatch. I was not around when that Rumble happened.
yeah, great ending to a very poor Rumble. I don't know
Yeah.
why that year they took away the normal 2 minutes and just made it a minute for each person. So
Oh.
the entire Rumble only ended up being about 35, 40 minutes.
Oh. That's dumb.
Yeah. I mean they fixed it the next year. Shawn Michaels
Okay.
won again. It was a better showing.
All right.
Well, oh God, we're in my final. We're in my final minute. Where are we at in Raw? I think you still are. We still on Veer and Rey Mysterio?
We got a little past that. The last thing I talked about was how Riddle beat Jimmy Uso.
Mm-hmm. Oh
When
yeah. They
yeah,
did
when
fight. They did fight. Yes, they did.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
Jay
right.
Uso tried to interfere, and then the referee caught him, and then Riddle
Mm-hmm.
rolled him up.
Yep. How you feel personal? I just thought about that too. The roll up. How do you feel about Xavier Woods making that his finisher and calling it the backwoods?
I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, a roll up pin is just another kind of pin. I don't really think that's really a true move.
No doubt, no doubt. But I'm gonna be in here listening.
All right,
Thanks for
thank
letting
you.
me on.
Of course, Cap. Thank you for coming on. You ever want to come back? Feel free. We were just talking about Cap about some wrestling. Let's continue our wrestling talk. I think Smooth's going to come on a little bit, and we all know he's into wrestling. We had AJ Styles and Finn Balor won in a tag team match over Los Lotharios. Quick before the match, the Los Lotharios brothers, Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza, they were trying to hit on Liv Morgan, and she was just like, "I'm not into you." And then AJ Styles and Finn Balor came over, like, "Yeah, get the heck out of here." And they made a pitch to Liv Morgan. It was like, since the Judgment Day, which is Edge, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley, is targeting us, we could use you. So now let's two men and one woman. So they don't pick us apart. He's like, I don't know. I'll think about it. They're like, all right. And then she ended up joining them for that match, that tag team match. And AJ Styles and Finn Balor won. And then they did the thing in the end where they did like the windmill of the ring. They put their hands up in the air. They all like hands, which was cool. But AJ Styles and Finn Balor won that tag team match. We had a rematch from the previous Raw. Alexa Bliss beat Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville looked much better. Of course, the previous week she was all in her head with her being fired as a WWE official right before the match. Well, second match back after a long absence. Alexa Bliss won that match, and after the match, Sonya Deville slapped the referee in the face. So we'll see if she's disciplined for that. I kind of want her gone, honestly. I never liked Sonya Deville. I just want her out of there. Get her out of there. Kind of thing with Mustafa Ali. I was just talking with Kat, saying they should either get him more run or just cut him. I would just get rid of him. He doesn't want to be there. He has to be released. They didn't let him, so then they just put him on the sidelines for months. Now he's back as just like mid card. He's feuding with Theory and the Miz, and he's like feuding with three people at this point. He's feuding with Theory, the U.S. champ. He's feuding with the Miz, and he's feuding with Ciampa. Exactly, let that man go. Like there's just, it's not going to work anymore. He had his run. He was a decent mid card for a while, but he had a shot. He had a shot for the title. Fought Daniel Bryan when Daniel Bryan was a heel, and when he was still in WWE, he lost. Since then, he was the leader of that group Retribution. If you remember Retribution, which I thought was a complete disaster. I thought they completely screwed it up. I couldn't have gone any worse. Yeah, these also like the names of the people. You had Mace, T-Bar, like what? Have to throw all this just to lose to Theory and not win the U.S. title. Like, yeah, it's not going to work. He's not even that good of a wrestler. He doesn't fit anywhere in WWE. He's not going to beat Theory. No, he lost to Ciampa. Hoping for Miz. Maybe they can get a couple matches out of it, but that won't do anything over the top. Like Cap was saying, maybe feed him to Roman. Like, I don't mind that idea. Just give everyone a shot at Roman. There's really only a couple superstars on the roster that can really even have a shot at him. So might as well just have everyone run through him and then, try to figure something out. Do you want to have Brock come back eventually and have a short run before Roman gets it back? And then what are you doing at WrestleMania next year? Is he going to fight The Rock? Will he be around? How much longer will he even be around Roman? His schedule's getting a little lighter. He may be coming to an end in WWE. He might go Hollywood or something. I don't know. But, even that, Mustafa Ali has no shot at beating Roman, really. A lot of people don't. I don't think Shinsuke Nakamura has much of a shot. I don't think Drew McIntyre's going to beat him. He has more of a shot than Mustafa Ali, but I don't think McIntyre wins that match. So, yeah, get rid of him. It's not working for either side. Just get rid of him. Let him go do whatever. He wants to go AEW, just let him. If I'm Vince McMahon, I do not care if Mustafa Ali goes to AEW. That does not scare me at all. He's a mid-card at best. He wants to go wrestle in Japan, who cares? You want to do something else? Feel free. You're probably better off, but he's not that good of a wrestler anyway. Anyway, I guess Lux was to defeat Sonya Deville. And then we had Cody Rhodes came out and he challenged Seth Rollins to a match inside Hell in a Cell, and then he appeared on the Jumbotron to accept. So it looks like we'll have Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins for the third straight pay-per-view. It'll be inside Hell in a Cell. It was right before his match last week, the week before. He said, he believes that the chapter with them is closed. They already beat him twice. And moving on, but then as he was fighting for the U.S. Championship against Theory, Seth Rollins interfered and then beat the crap out of him, showing Cody Rhodes that I'm not done with you. Cody said, that's fine with me. Let's settle the score once and for all inside Hell in a Cell. Then we had Ezekiel defeated Chad Gable. Ezekiel, obviously, that is Elias. If you look on Wikipedia, that is Elias. But he's, the character he's playing is Elias' younger brother, Ezekiel. And of course, Kevin Owens and then Chad Gable and Otis. Chad Gable and Otis, of course, were a tag team. They've been, forming an alliance, so to speak, with Kevin Owens, saying that Ezekiel is lying. They've been trying to have him do all these lie detector tests and stuff. And Chad Gable fought Ezekiel. Ezekiel won. Before the match, they tried to do a DNA test, but Otis peeled barbecue sauce on the sample, so the results got contaminated, so they couldn't get a clear reading, I guess. But Ezekiel defeats Chad Gable. And then we had Lacey Evans. She came back. She's been doing some little cameos from wherever the heck, but she hasn't been live. Talking about her time in the military. Talking about her dad who passed away. I looked up that is actually true. That I wasn't sure if that was part of a storyline. That is true. Her father did pass away when she was younger, and yes, she was in the military, so that was real talk. And then she cut a promo talking about her time in the military, and that no one is, and she's saying that she's the best wrestler in the locker room. So we'll see where it takes her. Hopefully we can get her back in the ring soon, because she's a very good wrestler, Lacey Evans. And then the main event. Okay, the main event was supposed to be a six-woman tag match. It was supposed to be the women's tag team champions Naomi and Sasha Banks were supposed to have a six-woman tag match, I think, and then they were going to team with Asuka. I think they were going to fight Becky Lynch and then two other women. But Naomi and Sasha Banks walked out of Monday Night Raw. That was not scripted. This is real talk. Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of Raw saying that they weren't happy with how they were being booked. They said they think they demand more respect. Apparently, they had singles runs in place for them, and then they decided to put them in this six-woman tag match. They're women's tag team champion. They weren't happy with it, so they walked out of Raw. So, not sure where that brings them. So, Adam Pearce had to improvise, and instead he made a match that was Asuka versus Becky Lynch, and the winner would fight Bianca Belair at Hell in a Cell for the Raw Women's Championship. And in the end, Asuka spit the green mist in the face of Becky Lynch and ended up pinning her. And Asuka won the match, so we would be Bianca Belair versus Asuka for Raw Women's Championship at Hell in a Cell. So that's basically what happened on WWE Raw. WWE Raw. We haven't seen what happened with Sasha Banks and Naomi because they walked out of Raw. Apparently, they went into the John Laurinaitis, who is the head of talent relations in WWE. Says that they went into his office with their suitcases and they placed their tag belts on his desk and they walked out. They claimed that they were not respected enough as tag champs, and for some reason they were not comfortable in the ring with two of their opponents, which was kind of odd because they had 8 hours to prepare for the match, to rehearse, if there are going to be any promos, and, go over what's going to happen in the match. Of course, WWE is scripted, and what they're going to do in the match. And they've had individual matches with their opponents who they were going to face, and they didn't have any issues then. So it was very, very odd and came completely out of the blue, it seems. But Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out, so something must have happened. I don't know what happened. Definitely something behind the scenes we probably don't know about and don't have the information. But that is what happened at Monday Night Raw. We got SmackDown this Friday. It's supposed to be the Tag Team Championship unification match, RK Bro versus the Usos, but I thought I remember reading something that said that they were not going to end up. They decided they did not want to do that. They did not want to do that. But I mean, a couple weeks ago they said it was going to happen, and then Roman came out and ripped up the contract, and ended up being a 6-man tag at Backlash. They had Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns in the match, so we'll see what happens. But that's what's going on in WWE. We'll see if that tag match happens on Friday Night SmackDown. I would like it. I would like to see it happen. I wouldn't mind that being the tag champs being unified. I'm not sure if it's good for WWE to have, the Bloodline hold every single title bout. Roman's the WWE and the Universal Champion, and we have both tag belts be with the Usos. But I'm not a fan of having a Raw and SmackDown tag team champion. I think there should be just one, honestly. I don't mind if they did unify them. I'm not sure if they're going to. It seems like, I don't really think WWE wants to, but it seems like they're tempted to, is because the RK Bro vs. Usos will be a great match, and that's probably what's better for WWE, but for some reason they like the Raw and SmackDown separate championship belts, but on the other hand, they're like, this match will be good for WWE, so I think they're kind of torn on what to do. So we'll see what happens this Friday. We have some college basketball news. The Ohio State's basketball coach, Chris Holtzman, he just signed a 3-year contract extension that puts him under contract through 2028. He will make $4.5 million a year on his new extension. He's been there 5 seasons. He's taken them to the tournament every year. The only year he didn't was 2020. There was no tournament that year because of the pandemic. Wrestling over NBA. I took a little NBA. Outside the playoffs, there isn't much to talk about, but I did mention that Jimmy Butler had a huge game, and he's averaging over 28 points this playoff. He had 41 in Game 1, and the Heat took Game 1. NBA lottery, that's right. Thank you, Patrick. We had the NBA lottery. The Orlando Magic won the NBA lottery. They will pick first. This is the fourth time in franchise history that, they suck. They do suck. This is the 4th time in franchise history that they will pick first overall. In 1992, they took Shaquille O'Neal. 1993, they took Chris Webber. And then they traded him for Penny Hardaway. And in 2004, they took Dwight Howard. So they've taken great players every time. Shaq was only there for a few years, then he ended up leaving to go to the Lakers. Patrick just said no Shaq to save it. Yeah, there's definitely no Shaq to... Shaq, there's no Shaquille O'Neal type guy in the draft. There's some good big man, but nothing like Shaq. All done with my phone call. I hate people. Now I'm kind of curious to see what happened. Hopefully, now he's coming on the mic. I'm interested to see what Smooth has to say. Comes to wrestling and the draft lottery and what happened. Had to throw people equals and then a crap emoji. Some people are out there for sure.
Hello, son.
Hello, Smooth. How we doing?
Son, people are stupid. I swear to
Yes, they
frickin'
are.
God. Like, if people don't have half a brain, they would be lost. Seriously. It's like, what the
Yeah.
F are you looking at? It's like right in front of you. Oh, you mean that button? Yeah, that one. Hit it. Boom, done. Oh, it works. Thanks. Great. An hour later. God,
Wow.
fucking mighty. Anyways, hi, how are you?
I'm pretty good, man. How you doing?
Great. I saw the Mickey Mouse show known as the Draft Lottery yesterday. That what a joke that is. God, seriously, you like I just literally wasted how long was that thing anyways? Like a half hour? Is that a
I didn't
half
even
hour?
watch it.
Yeah, like the most wasted half hour of my life because it's like you got all these players there. They look all nice in their little suits and all these Well, let's bring back Richard Rip Hamilton. He might bring us some luck. Oh, by the way, you got the fifth pick in the draft.
Yeah,
Pistons,
it's tough.
bunch of crap. Anyways, yeah, again a waste of time and energy, and people are like, "Oh, it's so great." What's great about it? What's great about watching your team not get like a top 3 pick? You get a 5th pick, and then who knows who you're getting? Winnie the Pooh, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. I mean, shit, really. But anyways, I am very impressed with one Miami Heat last night. My oh my,
Yeah.
they turned it on in the third. And you know what? And I've never, I mean, honestly, man, I'll be honest. I've never really, I mean, I like Jimmy Butler, but I've never really been a big fan of his because just the
Same.
way he does things, like when he did it in Minnesota and Chicago and shit like that. But dude, this guy, when he he literally like puts his mind to something, man, he's like really good. And it's like, dude, this guy's just like another level dude. And I love the stuff he says of like, you signed Tobias over me. It's like slam, da, 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 da. So it's like I love the fact that Miami still has that huge, like the players still have like that huge chip on their shoulder. No one respects them. Everybody thought Milwaukee would be in the finals, but including yours truly. I'll be the first person to admit it. I had Milwaukee in the NBA finals. Absolutely. I didn't think they were not going to show up against Boston on Game 7. That's another story. And I'm really, no offense, buddy, I'm actually really intrigued about tonight with Golden State and Dallas. I really want to see
Yeah.
how Luka plays in even a bigger stage. Now it's the Western Conference Finals. I mean, yeah, you beat Phoenix, and say what you want about Phoenix, they're still pretty good. It's just they didn't show up in Game 7. They
That
like
was brutal.
they literally like took a nap. Like they went in hibernation before the game even started. And
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued to see how he does tonight. And this is a bigger stage for him. This is something he's never been to a Western Conference Finals. The stage gets even bigger and brighter now. And you're playing a pretty solid Golden State team, which has multiple weapons, Klay Thompson and Curry and I'm not saying Draymond's a weapon, but Draymond's really good defensively. So you're playing a really solid team. So I want to see how he performs against Golden State. And, Golden State's been tested. I mean, they played a very good Memphis team. That was a very physical series.
Yeah.
And they'll even tell you that point blank. Like, Memphis threw everything in the kitchen sink at them. And they still came out on top. So I'm very intrigued with that. What else we got? NHL playoffs. Second
Yeah.
round, right? Second round, yes. Very excited. It's my favorite time of year because I love the NHL playoffs. I love the fact that we had 6 game 7s and like what? 3 of them went to overtime. Are you serious?
Yeah.
In the first round, that's insane. I mean, last night you had the Avalanche win in overtime against the Blues. Lightning beat the Panthers. I think the Lightning are, and we've all said this. I think the Lightning are the team to beat because they got tested against Toronto, but we all knew in
I
the back of our
mean,
mind the Maple Leafs were going to fold in Game 7. We're like, yeah, they're not winning a first round series since what, 2004? That's
18 years it's
insane.
been.
I mean, but I think the Lightning are just kind of they're really good, and the Avalanche are really good. Tonight you got Rangers Hurricanes Game 1, Oilers
Mm-hmm.
Flames Game 1. So who you got, man? Who you got? I'm gonna tell you who I got in a minute, but who you got? Who you got?
I'm gonna take the Rangers. I bleed too much blue, red, and white to not pick the Rangers. I'll take the Rangers in game 1. I easily
Huh?
see Carolina winning. By the way, the stuff Carolina doing, only selling tickets to people in Carolina just proves that they just have a garbage fan base. I just want to put that out there. I mean, I'm not sure if have you ever heard someone say to you, "Yo, I'm a huge Carolina Hurricanes fan." I have not heard that. So that just means their fan base is just horse crap because they're
Well,
afraid that the Rangers are going to just flub their stadium, even though they're playing Carolina.
well, the thing too, I remember when they played the Red Wings in the Cup final, and that was way back, like I want to say 04 or 03 or 4. I can't remember exactly what year it was, but they literally did the same thing. Like they would not sell.
Wow.
If you weren't a Carolina resident, you didn't get tickets to the
Wow.
game. Yeah, and that was and that was the like they were. I think they only had 3 home games because they were the lower of the 2 teams, but that was the game that went to like triple overtime, and I was sitting in a bar with my buddies. We were like, "Is this game over yet?" Nope. 6 hours later, it's still not over yet. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, we're all fried. It's like a Sunday afternoon. We've been sitting outside at a bar watching the game for 6 hours. I mean, you can only drink so much and eat so much after 6 hours, and it's like, dude, I just want to go home now. Seriously, get the game over with. Let's go. Somebody score. No, brutal bar tab. You're right, dude. Pat's right. Pat Jackson's right, dude. It was a brutal bar tab. Between 6 guys, I'm willing to bet it was close to $800
Jesus.
between the 6 of us. You got to remember, 6 hours, dude. What are you doing for 6 hours? You're eating and drinking everything under the sun. You know, so it's kind of like, man, dude. I mean, hey, Pat Jack, you should hang with me during March Madness. You think that's bad? Oh boy. Anyways, especially the first round. But anyways, I like the Rangers to steal game 1 against Carolina because the Rangers were literally thought to be dead in that Pittsburgh series, down 3 games.
They were down 3 games to 1.
They were down in the hole. Got to win game 6 on the road, and then win game 7 in your building. I mean, that's pretty tough to do. I really, really like thing different about this Oiler team that is in the past. Like Oiler teams in the past, they've just struggled. Like they usually don't get far in the playoffs in recent years. Now don't go back to the days of Wayne Gretzky and Yari Curry. That was a dynasty. That was a different story. The Oilers have been the team that has so much potential, but they've never gotten far in the past years. They've had they had McDavid, Draisaitl, but they had like Taylor Hall. They've had some really, really good players on that team. And I think the one constant thing that they haven't had that they do have now is Mike Smith. He's a 40-year-old goaltender, but he's consistent. He makes the big saves. He kind of quiets the locker room. He's like, listen, you guys focus on putting pucks in the net. I'm going to focus on stopping them. And I think that's the key. They've had so many unproven goaltenders in the past, 5, 6, 7 years. Mike Smith, he's 40 years old, but man, he is that good. And I think you need a proven veteran. Like, I can relate to like the Red Wings back in the day when they had Dominic Hasek. I mean, one of the best goaltenders to ever play the game. But they had, they had guys before him that just weren't good, that were in the playoffs, and they just didn't. Like Vernon was pretty good, Hasek was good, Chris Osgood was good. You had like proven veterans that hey, they could play the big role in the big time moments, and I think that's what makes Edmonton so different this year. Is you got a guy like a Mike Smith being in the net for you, and. I don't know. Pat Jack, what's up, buddy? By the way, I don't think the Rangers are getting swept. It's going to go at least 6.
I hope not.
Yeah, no. Carolina's good, but you know what? There's games that you're expected to win and you don't win. And I think, you got to remember, the Carolina's been off for a little bit. The Rangers have just come off of a really, good series against the Penguins. I really think the Rangers are going to play really well. I love their goaltender, too. That guy makes some huge saves in Game 7 against Pittsburgh.
Shesterkin's amazing.
Oh, dude, that guy's amazing. So I really think the Rangers could steal a game tonight, and I think tonight would be the night. And I think Carolina's winning in 6. I think tonight's the night where they just steal a game, and this is one. And in a 7-game series, the team that you don't expect to win a certain game's winning one. I think tonight's that night. So I'm going to go. Give me the 2 road teams, Rangers tonight. Love it.
All right.
And give me Golden State tonight over the Mavericks.
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting series. Like on paper, Golden State, I think it's the better basketball team. But then you look at it, who on Golden State is guarding Luka Doncic?
Right. That's the thing is, and Luka hasn't been in a Western Conference final. This is his first time, and the stage gets bigger, the lights get a little brighter, everything gets a little more focused because it's now just you, Golden State, Miami, and Boston. That's it. It's just 4 teams. You can't really kind of like, it's just one game. Well, now you have all the naysayers and the pundits. Now they're all like, hey, they can really focus on this one game. So now you're going to see something, and you're going to see a bunch of people come out of the woodwork and say, is Luka really that good? Da, 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 da. He is that good. But you're right. If you look at a 7-game series between the 2 teams, I on paper, Golden State's a better team. Mm-hmm. But again, Dallas wasn't supposed to beat Phoenix. They beat Phoenix. Dallas wasn't supposed to win their first round. For the life of me, I can't remember they beat in the first round either.
They beat Utah.
Yeah, they weren't supposed to beat Utah, right? They had.
Well,
he was out.
they
Luka
were
was out
favored
for like half the series. Luka was out half that series, right? So, they weren't supposed to beat Utah. Well, you and I both know, Jake, that I was going to lose that series anyways because Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert don't like each other. Period.
No, they don't.
Definitely no, they don't. Rudy Gobert, it's been proven, and there's stats to prove it. Rudy Gobert passes the ball to Donovan Mitchell in a game average 2 to 3 times a game. That's it.
Wow.
2 to 3 a game. That's insane. Oh, by the way, I do remember one Patrick Lundqvist for the New York Rangers. And let's go back to the annals of time, shall we?
Great.
But let's go back to the annals of time when Mike Richter was there, along with Mr. Guarantee we're going to win Game 7, Mark Messier. Yes, and the great one known as Wayne Gretzky wore a Rangers jersey at one time.
He did.
Yes, I remember watching him in a Rangers jersey. It looked kind of funny, but it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so used to seeing him. Used to seeing Wayne Gretzky in an Edmonton Oilers jersey. I mean, and then he was in L.A. when I lived in California, so I saw Wayne Gretzky play at the old Forum, no Staples Center. It was the Great Western Forum, and so we're talking, Edmonton, L.A. Rangers, and the Blues. He was the St. Louis Blue at one time too, very briefly, but he was. But I love the Rangers back in the day. They were just like the typical work it, grind it out team that just, they win any way possible. And I really hope they make a series out of it against Carolina. And I really hope that, I think tonight they're winning Game 1. I really do. I think the Rangers are winning Game 1. It's going to be like a 2-1 game, maybe a 3-2 game, but it's going to be close. I mean, I don't see blowouts. I don't see things are getting. It's so hard. People don't understand. In the playoffs, it's so hard to score a goal. Seriously, it is super duper hard to score a goal in the playoffs. And for those of you who have been in hockey in one shape or form, like yours truly, the intensity, the defense, goaltending, penalty killing is at an all-time premium because you don't want to let that goal in to win the game, or you don't want to let it goal in to get a lead. You want, yeah, exactly. You're right. Pat Jack's right. Everybody is conservative.
Yeah.
It is so nitty-gritty, grindy in the playoffs. Like you need, and everybody knows the stars in every team, right? But it's always the guys you don't hear about that perform in the playoffs. I mean, in Detroit, we had the grind lights. We had Darren McCarty, Chris Draper, Kurt Malpe. 3 guys that hardly scored any goals in the playoffs. And these guys in the heyday of the Red Wings would score goals in the playoffs. They're the grind line, like the third line on the Red Wings team. And you got to remember the Red Wings teams back in the day, in the late 90s, early 2000s, they had Hall of Famers. They had Chris Chelios, Brett Hall, Dominic Hasek, Steve Yzerman, Brendan Shanahan. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of
Lindstrom.
Hall of Famers. But what's that?
They had Nicholas Lindstrom too, right?
Lidstrom, right? Yep. And they had Slava Fetisov and God bless
Oh
him,
my
Vladimir
God.
Konstantinov, and Igor Larionov. They had literally at one time on one team, they had probably 10 Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers on that team
Jesus.
at one time. But I'm saying is, but everybody knew who they were. So it came down to the guys you didn't hear about. Guys like the Chris Drapers and the Malpes and the Darren McCartys that would put up that. And I'll never forget this. The Red Wings, when they won their first cup against the Flyers, it was game, I want to say 5 or 6. And it was 6. No, it was game 6 in Detroit. McCarty had a breakaway, went by one guy, flipped the puck over Hextall, and the place in the Jolis Ranch just went crazy. And then we knew that we were going to win the cup. And it was just unbelievable. Yep, Luke Rotentide, Pat Verbeek's another one. Yeah, dude, the list goes on and on and on. And I think the playoffs make it like the magnitude of the playoffs where now it's not necessarily about your star players. It's about the other guys on your team. This is why you build a team from 1 to 15 or 18, 20 or whatever in the NHL or 1 to 12 in the NBA. You know, the lines get shorter, the the bench gets shorter, stuff like that. And I think what happens is people don't understand that they're all so focused on the all stars, right? In
Yeah.
this series, 2 series tonight, and the Oilers and the Flames, you already know what you're getting. You got Connor McDavid, you got Draisaitl, you got Zibanejad. I can't say his name for the life of me. Say his
Needs a
name.
Banjad.
Thank you. Um, and then you got Sebastian O for Carolina. You know who you have already out there, and now it's going to be the other guys. Cancel
Yep.
out stars in the playoffs. They really do. If you really think about it, I mean, there's that one superstar that may rise above, but usually stars cancel stars out, and then it becomes down to in the NHL, it becomes down to the second line and the third line. It also comes down to goaltending and defense. I mean, there are so many factors in the NHL playoffs. And the NBA playoffs are the same way. I mean, you go 1 through 5. Hey, you got to have some guys come off the bench, man. You can't have Giannis out there for 48 minutes or whatever the case may be. You got to have some
Yeah.
guys. And I think, what's crazy, man, and I don't know if you mentioned this, but I think Milwaukee got slighted because Chris Middleton got hurt. If Chris
Yeah.
Middleton
For
didn't get
sure.
hurt, I think they beat Boston. I really do. And I
Definitely.
like Boston. I like Tatum and Brown. I like I've always been a Marcus Smart fan. Um, and they have some players, some role players on that team that play really well. But I think if the Bucks had Chris Middleton, and I know full well no one's going to really admit this, I think the Bucks win that series. They really do.
Definitely.
They needed another goal. They need another score. Drew Holiday can only do so much. Giannis can, and they locked down Giannis in those last couple of games. They had the whole wall of Giannis up. They had 3 guys literally at the free throw line. As soon as Giannis made a move, 3 guys just literally blocked the interior. So now he's
Yeah.
got to force it, and he's
They're
got to
great.
pass to
Great. They're
somebody
great
else.
on defense.
Oh, they're one of the best in defense. And the funny thing is, I think people don't. I mean, some people see that, like you and I would see that, but like the average
Mm-hmm.
person doesn't see that. They just think, oh, Giannis didn't play. Well, no, he did. He had 3 guys on him the whole time. What is he supposed to do? He's got to trust his other guys. He's got to trust Brooke Lopez and Drew Holiday and all those other guys on that team to make some baskets. And I don't think they did, especially in Game 7. That Diesel Pete's that was crazy. And I don't know about you, buddy. I've never been a Allen fan. I don't even know how he's even still in the league.
Who?
Greg Allen?
Oh yeah, he's a scumbag.
Yeah, I just his whole mindset just sucks.
Yeah.
I just think he's a dirty player, and I don't know. So I that's pretty much what I got, buddy. So what's going on in your world, man?
Uh, not much. It's the weather's been consistently really nice here, which is good. Probably
Today's been the first.
getting some good weather.
Today's been the first. Yeah, today's been the first day it's actually been crummy here in about a week. It's like 55 degrees and it's raining.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's yucky today. But the rest, like the past 5-6 days, it's been literally in like the mid to low 80s with sunshine, dude. It's been beautiful out here. Love it.
Yeah, getting nice. So just to recap, in the playoffs, you got to have like those role players step up. You look in the NHL. A bunch of years ago, the Chicago Blackhawks team that won the Stanley Cup, one of their Cup teams, it was the Dallas team that had Jonathan Taves. They had in his prime Patrick Kane. They had Duncan Keith in his prime. They had Brent Seabrook in there in his prime. Corey Crawford was an excellent goalie, but the guy who had the game-winning goal in the Cup was Brian Bickle, who a lot of people may never have heard of. You know, the NBA, you look at the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee needed a guy like Brook Lopez, who hadn't scored much all year, to go off for 33 that one game.
Mm-hmm.
You needed even the alternative Clippers last year, who went to the Western Conference Finals. They probably wouldn't have got there if Terrence Mann didn't have the what he had, 37, 38, 40-point game.
Right.
You need these guys to step up. I mean, look at the Boston Celtics. They're probably only in the Eastern Conference Final because Grant Williams had 27 points and 7 or 8 threes in Game 7. Yes, so you need guys other than your stars to step up in the playoffs.
Jalen Brunson, a guy who's no one's ever heard of hardly until this year, had 24. And usually he doesn't really put that much up. Don't look at the Suns box score. Bad news.
Yeah.
Bad news.
Their leading scorer, I think, was Cam Johnson, who had like 12.
Right. And last night with the Heat against, I know Butler had 41, but Vincent had 17. Tyler Hero had 18. Struss, another guy, Marcus Struss, who's hard. No one heard of him half the year.
Struss having a great year.
Yeah, Struss is having a great year. PJ Tucker, even though he only scored 5 points, he had 6 rebounds, 3 assists.
Mm.
He's a solid. Those are just guys that you need to step up in the big game. Guys that you don't really, don't score a lot, but then they score. But then you reverse. Williams had 7 last night against the Heat. He had 7 points, and the other day he had 27. So he's not. You still had Tatum with 29, Brown with 24, Williams the third at 18, and Pritchard at 18. Pritchard's another guy.
Yeah.
So it's just I think people put too much cachet or too much clout on the all stars, and they don't really look at the role players, the guys that come off the bench, the guys that need to put that run together, and that's what makes the playoffs so great, man. It's just those moments and those things in time, man. So love it, buddy, love it. Who you got winning the PGA? It's tomorrow.
Sky Scheffler will definitely have a shot.
Yep, I agree.
I think Jordan Spieth will have a good shot. He's been playing well.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see Cameron Smith win. He's a guy that I very like this year. He had a good performance at the Masters.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting. It should be a lot of fun.
So Cameron Smith, Justin Thomas is another guy. John Ram is another guy. I think. Some people are picking Colin Morikawa is another guy.
Ooh, great player.
Cantley's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tiger Woods is 60-1 to win the Open, to win the PGA Championship.
Wow.
60-1. I mean, $10 wins you $600. That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. Just saying. And then Ricky Fowler is 150. I'm not saying he's going to win, but he's 150-1. Wouldn't that be some shit if he won?
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. Dustin Johnson is 22-1. Rory McIlroy 14-1.
Wow.
And one Brooks Koepka 35-1. And he's also plus 400 to finish. And Tiger's plus 600 to finish in the top 10. I don't know. I might be putting a little 20 spot on there this week, 10 and 10 and see what happens.
Yeah.
He wins, I win 600. If he finishes in the top 10, I win plus 600. I mean, that's pretty good. Plus 100 to win 6. I mean, that's $60. I mean, I need the money. God knows the federal government ain't giving me. They're stolen my taxes from 2 years ago. That's some other bullshit. God, hate those people. Brutal. I seriously do. It's been a nightmare day, dude. Like, literally, I'm on the phone with the IRS for 2 hours. You know, because they still haven't given me my federal refund from 2 years ago because my
Oh
CPA
my.
decided to not drop a 1099 there, and I'm like, dude, did you turn them all in? Yeah. Well, how come the number doesn't look right? Oh, I forgot to put one in there. I'm like, no shit, Dick Tracy. I'm spending I'm popping you $300 to do my taxes, and you're doing this.
Hey.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, and I still haven't got my money back from that yet, so it's crazy.
Hey.
Yep, but it's another story. So there you go. Feel like I've just told everybody my life story in about 20 minutes. Love it. And one Phil Mickelson will not be at the PGA
Yeah, that's a
Championship.
shame.
Yes,
That's a shame.
and he won it last year, did he not? Yes.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
Yeah.
he won it last year, so he can play at that tournament for the rest of his life.
So yeah, right. So ESPN has the whole PGA Championship this weekend. Did I see that right?
Wow.
Isn't ESP doesn't CBS usually do the coverage for that?
They do a lot of golf for sure.
Yeah. So, but I thought like CBS doesn't CBS do the I thought CBS does the PGA Championship, but it's looking at the schedule here. They have ESPN the whole Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's really weird.
Wow.
Yeah, like literally, it's hate to say it, it's your favorite guy, Joe Buck.
I like Joe Buck.
And one Michael Collins. I don't know who that is, but all right, I got to do something. I got to run through the rain to get in the house, so you have to give me a minute.
All right.
It's boring.
All right. We're on talking to Jake. We're just talking to Spillman about a variety of things. NBA, the draft lottery, the
We're
NHL
breaking down the
playoffs,
PGA Championship, man.
PGA Championship,
PGA
other stuff. We're just doing a little bit of everything right now.
potpourri.
Pat Jack said Joe Buck is great. I don't get the hate. I agree, Pat Jack. I think Joe Buck is an excellent announcer.
Awful. I don't know what planet you guys are on.
Smooth Bill has a different opinion. He thinks that Joe Buck is not good at all. He is
terrible.
on the complete other end of the spectrum.
He's riding his dad.
He's
riding his dad's.
When it comes to Joe Buck, his dad was a fantastic announcer. I'll give you that. Jack Buck rather was an excellent announcer. One of the all-time greats.
Yeah, you guys, you youngsters out there in the world, whoever's listening to this cast, by the way, go to YouTube, type in the word Joe Buck, Jack Buck, Joe Buck's dad. That guy's the man. I'm telling you. Watch games like Game 6 of the Twins and the Braves in the World Series, and when Kirby Puckett hits a home run in the blow-up dome known as the Metrodome. And says, "We'll see you tomorrow night, everybody." That's classic. Joe Buck can't do that. He sounds like a wet paper bag. Seriously, he does. He seriously sounds like, "Alrighty then, he hit a homer. Good for him." I'm like, "Come on, dude." Jack Buck was the man. Joe Buck's a chump. And then he gets all his money from ESPN. They'll see how bad he is. They'll be like, "And there's a pass by Mahomes first down." Great.
What do you think of Chris Collinsworth?
I like him. Is he still doing the NBC thing or no? Who is doing the NBC thing anyway?
Yeah, it's gonna be him and Mike Tirico because
Tirico's doing it.
He was promised for ages that he was going to take Al Michaels' spot. And Al Michaels was the ageless wonder. By the way, Smooth, Al Michaels is 77 years old.
Right, and he's doing the Amazon games this year. He's doing
Amazon, and so they brought Tirico in. They said, all right, when Al Michaels steps away in a couple of years, he'll take over. And then Al Michaels just wouldn't go away because he's just an ageless wonder. But finally, it looks like Mike Tirico and Chris Collins would be doing NBC.
So and then Al Michaels is doing the Amazon Prime game with is he doing with, if I remember correctly, if I saw this right, is he doing those with Kurt Herbstreit?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, Kirk Herbstreit. He went to Amazon. Kirk Herbstreit. Right,
but he's still gonna do the college games too for ESPN.
I would think.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think. Yeah, he's just. I hate to say it. As much as I don't like the guy because he's an Ohio State guy, he's still good at what he does.
Yes, I don't know how much he knows about NFL, but college he knows that. He knows everything about college for sure.
Yeah, he's really. He's by far one of the best.
Oh yeah.
And then they could always put Lee Corso out to pasture anytime now.
Oh my God, I love Lee Corso.
He's very 100 years old. That
Looks
guy
like
needs
it.
to go away. Seriously, just go
I
away.
like Nicorso.
Oh boy, the head mascot thing can only last for so long.
I like when he does that.
But I do like game day, and I've been to a couple of them in Ann Arbor, and that's just freaking crazy, dude. You talk about some crazy people, yeah.
And Fox, Joe Buck and Drakeman, they moved to ESPN, and Fox. I think we might see Sean Payton on Fox. I don't know who they'll have him with.
I'm trying. Didn't they not announce who the lead announcer is for Fox already? Did they not do that or no?
I'm not sure. I can check that out. I know Sean Payton was hired by them after he left the Saints.
Well, Tom Brady was hired by him too.
Jesus.
Remember Tom Brady?
$375 million to announce. I don't even know if he's good at it.
You don't have to be good at it if you're Tom Brady, dude. You just show up and be like, "Yeah, I'm Tom Brady." Hey, you sit right here. Go ahead, sit down. Go ahead, Tom. Sit down. You're fine. I'm trying to remember. You know what? The guy that I would really love to do NFL games, and people think I'm going to be crazy when I say this, but the guy who does the college games for Fox, Gus Johnson.
Gus Johnson, yes, dude, I love Gus Johnson.
He would be the man doing NFL games, especially in the playoffs. Oh my gosh, he'd be amazing. He would be good. He would be really good.
Yeah, these are the announced teams on NBC. It's Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth.
Right.
CBS, Jim Manchin, Tony Romo.
Mm-hmm.
On Fox, it's most likely going to be Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olson.
That's the guy, Kevin Burkhardt.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yep. Yeah, he's good. He was the silent guy for the Mets for a while, and then he got a big deal to go to Fox. He was good with the Mets. He does everything.
He's worked with Greg Olson for a couple of years now, so those guys could do pretty good. But I think Gus Johnson I think he would be primed and really good for that position. I like him. I really do.
For sure. We got Joe Buck and Troy Aikman at ESPN. They're on ESPN. Right. Amazon Prime on Thursday will be Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels.
Right. But and then I'm sure you guys already did the whole NFL schedule release thing. And they got some amazing Thursday night games on this year.
Nice.
It's just amazing how much money is being put into, how much television rights money-wise. I mean, look at the first game of the season is Bills-Rams.
Wow.
That's on NBC. That's the first one. And then the following week is Chargers-Chiefs.
Wow.
Okay. The following week, Steelers-Browns.
All right. Ooh,
not bad.
Big robbery.
Following week, Dolphins-Bengals.
Okay.
Colts-Broncos.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Commanders-Bears. Well, okay. Man. Saints-Cardinals.
That's a good one.
Yep. Ravens-Buccaneers.
Pretty good one.
Yep, of course. Tom Brady. Eagles-Texans. That doesn't count. All right. Falcons-Panthers. Okay, that doesn't count.
Oh, God.
Yuck. Titans-Packers. That's on Thursday, November
that's a good one.
17th. They don't have one on Thanksgiving because there's the Thanksgiving Day games. That's Bills-Lions. Giants-Cowboys. Patriots-Vikings. Maybe. Titans-Packers is going to be good, man, because you got Aaron Rodgers.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead. You can ask me anything you want, buddy.
Why, on God's name, does the Lions have to play on Thanksgiving every year?
It's tradition, bud. You know who made up? You know what? William Clay Ford was one of the guys that made up Thanksgiving Day games. So they got to give. Yeah, they got to give it to him. As much as I don't like it, and I live here, trust me. When I was married, we had people at the house. I had to suffer through that crap. Seriously, I was the dude making the Thanksgiving Day dinner. I just kind of. Yeah, dude, I just sat in the kitchen. I didn't watch that shit. And people were like, what are you doing in there? I'm like, I'm cooking. They're like, you're not supposed to cook. I go, the fuck I am. I'm not watching that garbage.
Thanksgiving. I'm
Get out of here. Yeah, I'm cooking the turkey. You want ham sandwiches or do you want turkey? Yeah. My wife at the time looked at me funny. She goes, "You just said that?" I go, "Sure did." Yeah, I was pretty loud. I mean, no wonder I'm divorced, but no, I I was pretty loud and just obnoxious about things when people said something stupid. I just would ignore them and be like, I'm just going to cook this stuffing and make sure I burnt your part of it. So when you eat your part, it's burnt. And the people are like, no, don't do that. I'm like, of course I'm not going to do that, dude. What do you think I'm stupid? Yeah, it was pretty cool Thanksgiving at my house back in the day, man. I was the one that cooked the food because I didn't want to deal with her in-laws. God, ugh, so bad. Seriously, public service announcement to everybody: don't ever get married. It's rotten. It's bad. I'm sorry. It is awful. Don't mess with girls. Just have a girlfriend. Date, whatever. Don't get married. It's bad. You get taken to the woodshed. It's just not cool. So, anyways, no, seriously, like back in the day, I mean, before I got married, it was cool because we'd all sit around and we'd watch the Lions, back on the days when they didn't have HD and all this other stuff. So, little 9-inch, 13-inch color TV was all I.
Wow, it's a small TV.
Oh, yeah, that was back in the day, man. When 32 inches, we were all excited, like, yeah, buddy. Woo-hoo. But no, seriously, I hate the Lions on Thanksgiving. I think it's the worst thing. Seriously, and I hate it. I don't like it. Most people in Detroit don't even like it. The only thing that's cool about Thanksgiving in Detroit is we have like the Thanksgiving Day Parade.
That's cool.
It's cool. Yeah, it's people come out and have a good time. Enjoy themselves, and they have to suffer through the lines.
They lose like every year.
Oh, every year it's the same thing. It's brutal, dude. It makes you want to cry, cringe, and do both at the same time.
And they gotta get the Cowboys off of Thanksgiving too. Why are the Cowboys America's team? I need to know. Why are they America's team? They have 3 playoff wins in the last 25 years. Why are they America's team? Why? America's team? 3
Do you want the
playoff
honest
wins
answer?
in 25 years.
Do you want the honest answer or the bullshit answer?
No, just give me both.
Give you both. Okay. Well, the honest answer is this. Because Dallas is a huge metropolis and a very big city for like TV ratings.
Yep.
And, people relate to the Cowboys back in the day when Tom Landry was the coach there. And you had Roger Staubach, who's the All-American kid who went to Navy, and then he played his pro career with the Cowboys. And you had, these clean-cut guys play there, and then and then they gravitated, they brought in Jerry Jones, and, he bought the team, and he changed the organization, brought in Jimmy Johnson, his guy. Which, by the way, if you actually talk to Jerry Jones, he'll tell you point blank the biggest mistake he ever did was firing Jimmy Johnson.
Really? Wow.
Oh yeah.
It was definitely a mistake. I didn't know he was going to admit it.
Oh yeah, he did. He admitted it. He said that's the worst mistake he ever made was firing Jimmy Johnson. Because they would. He said point blank they would have won even more Super Bowls if he was the head coach.
Absolutely.
And he liked Barry Switzer. I mean, both those guys were Oklahoma guys. Jimmy Johnson was a University of Miami guy, but I think he started before at University of Miami at Oklahoma doing something. I can't remember what it was.
He definitely was at somewhere like that before Miami.
Yeah, and Barry Switzer was at Oklahoma. And Jerry Jones loves those Oklahoma guys. So, and then, they brought in, Troy Aikman. Again, a clean-cut dude. Emmitt Smith, clean-cut guy. The alleged drug dealer in Michael Irvin, but not anymore. But he's cool now. But they had guys that were just like typical, down-to-earth, play hard guys. And you had the Dallas Cowboy mystique. You had, the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. You had the team that was, they were pretty solid in those days, and I think people just gravitate to them like they kind of gravitate towards the Lakers and the, the Boston Red Sox or the New York Yankees or the, what am I thinking of? Those big market teams. Mm-hmm. I think people just gravitate towards them because of that. And that's why they're America's team. You may not like it, but, oh, well, I guess.
So what's the BS answer?
The BS answer is no one else really has anything else to root for. Especially you live in certain cities like here in Detroit, which is, people are like, Oh, I love my Lions. No, you don't, dude. You just suffer through them. That's what you do. Seriously, they do. They do.
Yeah.
They're pulling the wool over your eyes. I mean, I think like being a Lions fan is being like on drugs. Seriously, it's bad. I'm not kidding. It's bad because people are like they don't know what else to do with their time. Like now it's getting to the point now where like the Tigers have been, geez, oh Pete, I don't know what happened. Like they
Tough
started off
start.
really, oh yeah, it's tough as being mild. I
Mhm.
mean that's god awful. Like there was so much promise for the Tigers to actually be pretty good to start off. And I actually said on Colorcast numerous times in the past before the season started that if the Tigers need to get off to a hot start.
Yes, you did.
If they don't, then they're in trouble, and they are in trouble. And they're actually losing to the Tampa Bay Rays 3-0 in the bottom of the third. They're playing a day game in Tampa, which no one goes to. I think the average attendance for a Tampa Bay Rays game is like a couple thousand. No one goes there.
Yeah, their fan base is terrible, Tampa.
Yeah, I hear the birds chirping in the background. Sounds lovely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so let's just for giggles here. I'm gonna look at something here real quick while I'm on my computer. What was it? Oh, 8-1 last night. The Rays beat the Tigers. And where is it at here? Average. Where's the attendance at? They didn't show it. What? Come on. What? Where's it at? It's probably like under 5,000.
Probably was there was no people there to count.
No, there's nobody there. I mean, it's the if I've been to Tropicana Field, dude, it's like a blow up. It's a blow up dome. That's what it is. It's awesome.
I've been there too. Stadium's nice, but not a lot of people go there.
No, it's just poop. I mean, you're lucky to get, a couple fans in there, a couple thousand for a game.
The attendance from yesterday's game was 8,475.
Oh, that's it. Wow. Ain't that some stuff?
Yeah.
No. I mean, the only times people in Tampa go, well, most of the people that live in Tampa right now aren't even from like they're the people that live there, but like the people that live up in your area, my area, they're back here now.
Yeah, like my dad lives in Tampa. He went to college there, but he's born and raised in on Long Island. He's only lived in Tampa. He was in college. He went to University of Tampa for 4 years, and he moved back there about 2 years ago. So he's only lived there for he was in college there for 4 years, and then these last 2 years, the other 46, 47 years old of his life, he's been in New York.
I mean, most of my life I spent in Michigan, and I've been to, California. I lived in California.
Okay.
I've saw the world when I was in the Air Force, but
oh wow.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, most of your average fans, average people don't even live there all year. They're half the year. And
they're snowbirds. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. So they're back up here now. So I mean, your average fan, they're not going to pay to see the Rays play. They don't care.
They are not. Definitely not.
They don't care, dude. So what else you got for me, buddy?
I don't really have much else. I don't think I got much else for you.
Well, I'm glad I had an opportunity to join my son today. Very excited.
Thank you, Smooth.
You're welcome, buddy. Always a pleasure.
Yeah,
always a pleasure.
Yeah, it was pleasure as always. Thank you, Smooth. Thank you, Smooth, for hopping on. Thank you, Cap, for coming on the mic. Thank you, Pat Jack, for chilling with us. Thank you, Pat Rush, for chilling with us. That was a great show today.
All right, bud. We'll have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we will talk sometime, hopefully maybe sometime this weekend, if not sometime early next week.
That sounds good to me. Thanks again
for coming
on.
Yep, as always.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
All right, man. Have a great day.
Thank you, Smooth. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Until tomorrow, so long. Have a great day.